everybody, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you had an amazing weekend as well. I was playing some console ranked in PC lobbies earlier today, and I encountered a full PC stack as expected, and they were super toxic. From the get-go, they were pretty toxic. And so I wanted to make a video about how having an ego can genuinely cost you your game. Literally, as soon as the game started, they told me to flash them in the comments, and then whenever they eliminated me, they always put GN. At one point during the match, they actually called me a female dog. They said 200k for what, you bitch, and that's a reference to my TikTok channel, as I have 200,000 TikTok followers on there. From the second I started getting GN'd in the chat every time they eliminated me, I knew that I was living in their heads rent-free, and that they would have an ego when it came to playing against me, apparently. I don't know if it's because I'm a content creator or because I am a female content creator. Honestly, I'll never know. The flash us comments suggest that maybe it's because I'm a woman, but it's funny because I don't actually claim to be good at this game. I never have claimed to be good, and I never will claim to be good. I know a lot about this game. I know how to roam. I know how to read what an enemy is going to do, for example. But when it comes to aim, I cannot aim to save my life. This is why I will always roam, and you will never catch me on sight because my aim is so bad, and I'm happy to admit that my aim is terrible. I've duo queued to champ a couple of times, but I still won't claim to be good at the game. But I knew that they desperately wanted to ego me, so I was like, I'm already in their heads, so I'm going to get in their heads even more. So after that elimination there on Thermite, I then teabagged him momentarily, and then later on when they were planting, I then briefly shot Ace's body. Now, I don't normally ever do anything like that. I don't endorse toxicity in a game, but I just knew from a tactical play that if I'd done that, they're going to start throwing lives, and that is exactly what they did. Because they had already been toxic to me in the chat and definitely demonstrated how big of an ego they have by GNing me with every elimination, they also teabagged me multiple times. I just knew that this would work, and I didn't think it would work this well. So it's match point overtime, it's 4-4. I go off site with Capcan. We are defending bottom floor. I play on middle floor. I put my Capcans around a map just for sound cue. And honestly, it takes them like a minute and a half roughly to eliminate me. How they played this round honestly blows my mind. So it was already a 5 versus 4 on their behalf, and they knew I was off site, and they knew that I was the only person off site, which means it's then 5v3 on site. So instead of trying to take site and flank watching, they really focused me. 3 people played to try and get me. And because it took them so long to try and get me, they then couldn't do a coherent attack once I'd been eliminated. They were genuinely more hung up on trying to get the elimination onto me than they were of winning the round. I think they thought, oh, if we eliminate you, we win. But obviously that's not how the game works. So at this point, it is a 5 versus 3. It's not looking good for my team, but because their attack at this point is so messy, they have no strategy going on because their whole strategy was just to clear me. So 3 people push the one doorway, one at a time. Somebody's trying to plant, they get downed, so the other person then takes the diffuser and tries to plant themselves. They then also get eliminated, and they end up just throwing their bodies one by one, and my team wins a pretty losable situation. From a 5 versus 3, it ends up being a 2 versus 1, but for my team. And then in the end, my team gets the final elimination and we win the whole round. Sorry, I mean the whole game. If those players didn't have the ego that they had, they would have 100% would have won that game. Most of the time when I eliminated them is because they were too busy trying to clear me out and not doing a good job at flank watching. Now, it goes without saying that there is nothing wrong with being competitive at a game, especially when it's a competitive game like Siege. Siege is a competitive game, but it's one thing being competitive and there's another thing being blinded by your ego. To the point where you're then like abusive in the game and call me a bitch and GM me so much. Like, if you're gonna call me a bitch and tell me I'm bad, at least then win the game. Don't let me top frag. But the most embarrassing thing for these people, and it wasn't all of the team who were toxic, it was just a couple of them. But the most embarrassing thing is I was playing controller on an Xbox in a PC lobby with 2 other Xbox friends in a PC lobby. By all means, we should have lost that game because we are definitely at the disadvantage. 2 of them, at least, were diamond, 1 was emerald. My highest on PC is plat 5. Obviously, I'm champ on console, and I have the game sense of a champ. But aim-wise, I'm bad on console, so imagine how bad it is on PC. All of the odds were in their favour. They should have absolutely won that game, without a doubt, without question. Because statistically and on paper, they are the better players. However, they lost badly. I went 11-5. When I say they lost badly, it's not the score was very close. Like, it was 5-4. But the KDs on some of them, they were bad. And I know KD isn't everything, and I always bang on about how KD isn't everything. But if you're going to have an ego, I kind of expect KD to back it up. Do you see the point I'm trying to make here? Basically, they had no reason to have an ego, apparently, looking at how the match went. But they lost because of it. And it's not the only time when people lose because of an ego. So many times people will ego swing an angle, and then they lose the gunfight because they've ego swung it. And then that can cost them the whole game. And the amount of times, even one of my best friends, he ego swings everything all of the time because he just genuinely has the impression that he is godly at this game. And he is really good at this game. Like, he's one of the best players I've seen on console. Like, he's so good. But his ego makes him worse than he actually is. Like, if he didn't ego swing things, I'm pretty sure it'd have like a 4.0 KD. It's not just in the rank setting either. We recently saw a pro game on Nighthaven Labs where somebody was on rafters and they managed to get the diffuser. They then go behind a wall and type GG before the game's even over. That allows the enemy team, I think Fnatic, to get the diffuser and plant, and then they couldn't recover site, and then they lost because of that stupid egotistical mistake. So it's good to be confident, but having a big ego or an overinflated ego will cost you your games.